I'm joined here by Steven Caldwell. There's no doubt about how big a year it was in 2024 for Jacob Shaffelburg while playing for the Canadian men's national team, especially given the way Jesse Marsch wants to play. He was an impact player both as a starter and off the bench, shone in Copa America as well. Wasn't quite the same for him at club level, though, was it, Stevie, with Nashville? How important is it that he has a very good MLS season this year to stay in the forefront of Jesse Marsch's mind in terms of the 11 or even the 26 for the World Cup?
Yeah, I think 26, he's probably got that one, Luke. But 11, it's going to be a hard battle. And he did have a tough season last year. Nashville generally had a difficult season in MLS as well. So I think that plays into it. But Shaffelburg just has to be consistent. He has to rack up the numbers when it comes to assists and goals. He can't afford to be, play good one game and then maybe have 4 or 5 games where he's not at his best. So consistency is the key. And output, I guess, is the key for Jacob Shaffelburg this season when he's in the Nashville colours of yellow.
There are so many Canadians for us to keep a close eye on throughout the course of the MLS season when we think about who might make it into Jesse Marsch's squad and even Jesse Marsch's starting lineup come the World Cup in 2026. When you think about the players who have played such an integral role so far, is Jacob Shaffelburg maybe the one with the most to lose?
Maybe Jacob Shaffelburg. I would say that he's the one that sort of rose to prominence under Jesse Marsch. So considering his place in that 11 is probably a little bit shaky. We talked about what he needs to do to be consistent. Ali Ahmed, maybe another one who's had some minutes for Jesse Marsch and really sort of appeared to be a player that is capable of starting in his 11. That's going to be a challenge for him because at Whitecaps, I don't know if he's going to get the minutes. He's going to have a fight to actually be a regular in his club side. So, there's a few on that bubble. Tani Oluwaseyi at Minnesota, he's going to have to play games. These guys are going to have to be consistent for their clubs, especially at MLS level. Some of the European guys maybe have a little bit of leeway, but the guys that are in MLS are going to have to play consistent minutes. Otherwise, it's going to be very hard for Jesse Marsch to pick them in the 11.
You mentioned Oluwaseyi, who, of course, made an impact at times off the bench for Canada, still looking for his first Canada goal. There are those young Canadian strikers like a Jason Russell Rowe, who's also pushing from behind. Maybe some other dual nationals that could potentially commit for Jesse Marsch as well. So, Tani Oluwaseyi, do you see him being part of that 26, or do you think this next MLS season will tell us everything we need to know about him?
I think it will. I think it'll be a challenge for him to be part of that 26. He has attributes that Jesse Marsch really likes. We know that. He's quick, he's direct, he can get in behind, but in the red of Canada, he's been too inconsistent. He's missed chances when he's got his opportunity. So he's going to have to, at club level, be that, that ruthless striker, that finisher that Jesse Marsch needs when he plays for the national team. And as we know, when you play for the national team, there's less opportunities to put the ball in the back of the net, so it's going to be harder. He has to be consistent. So one that I kind of like is Joe's Anthony Vilsan. I think that he's got a real chance of pushing himself towards that 26 if he can play regularly, week in, week out. Injuries has been his problem. Consistency, being a starter for Montreal has been an issue. But we know when he does get in the team and when he's at his best, he can be very effective. So he's someone I think has the attributes that Jesse Marsch will like and may be able to force himself into 26.
What about a couple of players who have been in and around the Canadian men's national team in the past, who were playing in Europe and have now returned home? I'm thinking about Theo Corbiano, who is now with Toronto FC. Jayden Nelson, who was with TFC, went to Europe and has now made the move back to Vancouver. Does that help their chances here of making the World Cup squad?
I think it does. I think coming back puts them in the shot window, as we say, and it gives them a chance, more of a chance, to play, of course, for Canada. I think where they were in Europe, it was difficult to be recognised and difficult to kind of stand out in amongst, the rest of the players that are maybe playing in Europe. So it's an opportunity for them to really be seen. But again, it's what we've said for most of these players. They have to be consistent. They have to play regular minutes, and not just minutes. They have to be game winners for their team. They have to score goals and they have to get assists. And it's not an easy challenge. Corbiano is in a tough team at TFC, a tough season again, I think, for Toronto FC. And Jayden Nelson's got a bit of a fight on his hands. You've got Brian White, you've got Ryan Gold, you've got new signing Emmanuel Sabe, you've got Ali Ahmed, you've got guys in that forward line that are going to really cause him competition for places. So they've got to get in the team, they've got to score goals, they've got to get assists if they want to be recognised.
A big year ahead in Major League Soccer for lots of Canadians who are hoping to make it into Jesse Marsch's World Cup squad. The MLS season kicking off this weekend on TSN.